Tell me when you use Google Maps to navigate. Do you think about space? When your factory orders raw material and gets a delivery ETA, do you think about space? When your Zomato delivery shows up at your door, do you think about space? You should. Because all of that runs on space technology. And the people who understand this right now, in 2026, are going to have a massive advantage over everyone else. Space is no longer just rockets and astronauts. It is now a $630 billion industry, and it is growing twice as fast as the global economy. And today, I am going to show you exactly what that means for your business. Whether you run a factory, a startup, an agency, or you are just building something of your own. Welcome back to TradeFixa. I am Samir, a founder building automation and B2B technology platforms right here in India. On this channel, we explain artificial intelligence, space technology, AI automation, and future innovations in simple language, but always with one focus. What does it mean for your business? If you are new here, this channel is for you. If you run a company, a startup, a factory, or an agency, or if you simply want to understand the opportunities that AI and deep tech are creating right now before everyone else figures it out. Today's episode is one I have been researching for a while because I genuinely believe most business owners in India are sleeping on the biggest economic shift of this decade. So let's get into it. Let me give you some numbers first, because this is not opinion, this is data. The global space economy is worth $630 billion in 2026. That is according to Novaspace, one of the world's top space market research firms, who published this just in January of this year. Now, compare that semiconductors, the chips inside every phone and computer, that is a $600 billion industry. The space economy is already bigger than that, and McKinsey says it will reach $1.8 trillion by 2035. That is nearly tripling in under 10 years. And here is the most important number. The space economy is growing at 9% per year. The entire global economy grows at around 3.5% per year. So space is growing at more than twice the speed of everything else. But here is what most people miss, and this is the key insight of today's video. Only 18% of the space economy is government. ISRO, NASA, the military. They are just 18%. The other 82% is private companies, normal businesses, companies just like yours, just like mine. The space economy is no longer about government budgets. It is about commerce. It is about business. And that changes everything. Segment 4. Why now? The cost revolution. Now, you might be asking, Samir, space has been around for 60 years. Why is it suddenly a business opportunity now, in 2026? Great question. And the answer is one word: cost. 20 years ago, it cost over $10,000 to send 1 kilogram of material into space. 1 kilogram, that is basically 2 bottles of water. $10,000. Today, because of companies like SpaceX and their reusable rockets, that cost has fallen below $3,000, and it is still falling. That is a 90% reduction in 20 years. Think about it this way. Imagine if air freight costs fell 90%. Suddenly, businesses that could never afford to ship internationally, they can now. New markets open, new products become viable, new industries are born. That is exactly what is happening in space right now. And it is not just SpaceX. In India, and I want you to pay attention to this, we now have over 300 space startups. 300. IN-SPACe, which is India's space regulator, has authorized over 800 private companies to participate in space activities. India's own space economy is targeting $44 billion by 2033. Companies like Skyroot Aerospace, Pixel, and Digantara, they are building rockets, satellites, and space data businesses right here. The barrier to entry for space is falling just like it fell for the internet in the 1990s. And we all know what happened when internet became accessible to everyone. Segment 5. 3 ways space is already in your business. Now let's get to the part that matters most for you, the founder, the factory manager, the startup builder. How is space already inside your business right now, and how will it change things in the next 3 years? I have broken this into 3 categories. Point 1. The internet you use every day is moving to space. Right now, Elon Musk's Starlink has over 9,500 satellites in orbit. Amazon's Project Kuiper has FCC approval for more than 7,500 satellites. Blue Origin is planning 5,000 more. What does this mean? It means that in 3 to 5 years, every location in India, Kota, Rajasthan, a factory in rural Maharashtra, a farm in Punjab will have high-speed internet from satellite. Not dependent on BSNL, not dependent on towers, direct from space. For manufacturers and factories in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, this is massive. Real-time inventory management, remote machine monitoring, IoT sensors on your equipment, all of this becomes possible at scale when reliable internet reaches every corner of this country. 2. Space data is becoming your business intelligence. Here is something that sounds like science fiction but is happening right now. Satellites are photographing every farm, every port, every highway, every factory in the world multiple times per day. And companies are using this data to make business decisions. Insurance companies in India are using satellite imagery to verify crop damage in seconds instead of sending surveyors. Logistics companies are tracking road conditions in real time. Retailers are analyzing foot traffic at competitor stores using satellite data. The World Economic Forum says that agriculture, logistics, insurance, and construction will generate 60% of the space economy by 2035. These are not space industries. These are your industries, powered by space. India's startup Pixel just won a contract worth 1,200 crore rupees to build India's first private Earth observation satellite constellation. This data will be available to businesses, startups, and developers. If you build software, if you run supply chain, if you do agriculture, this is your next competitive advantage. 3. The SpaceX IPO. The Netscape moment. Now, I want to tell you about something that is about to happen, and it will be the signal that the space economy has officially arrived. In 2026, SpaceX is expected to go public. That means list on the stock market. The expected valuation? $1.5 trillion. That would make it one of the largest IPOs in history. Space Capital, one of the leading space investment firms, calls this the Netscape moment. Remember Netscape? In 1995, Netscape's IPO was the event that told the world the internet is real, it is here, it is going to change everything. Suddenly, investors, entrepreneurs, and companies all started taking the internet seriously. The SpaceX IPO will do the same thing for space. It will bring a flood of capital, talent, and entrepreneurial energy into the space sector. And if you are a founder or a business owner, you need to understand this before it happens. Because the ones who prepare now are the ones who build on top of this wave. And just 3 days ago, March 22nd, 2026, NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang stood on stage at the GTC conference and said, "Space computing, the final frontier, has arrived." NVIDIA is building AI-powered orbital data centers. SpaceX is proposing a solar-powered data center in orbit involving up to 1 million satellites. The cloud is literally moving to space. Segment 6. The India opportunity. Now, let me bring this home, literally. What does all of this mean for you in India? India's space economy today is about $6.3 billion. The government has set a target of $44 billion by 2033. That is 7x growth in 7 years. And InSpace chairman Dr. Pawan Goenka told investors in Singapore just this February, India could capture 8 to 10% of the entire $1.8 trillion global space economy. Think about what that means. India launching satellites for other countries. Indian software companies building Earth observation analytics platforms. Indian manufacturers supplying components to global space companies. This is already happening. L&T and HAL are manufacturing ISRO's rockets. Tata, Bharat Electronics, Godrej, they have been space suppliers for years. The question is, where do you fit in this story? And the answer is, you do not need to build rockets. You need to build on top of space technology. The same way you do not need to build a server to use the cloud, you just build applications on top of it. A logistics startup that uses satellite data to optimize routes. An agriculture SaaS that uses Earth observation for crop analytics. A factory that uses satellite internet to run remote monitoring. A data analytics company that sells space-derived insights to insurance companies. These are real businesses that real people are building right now, and the opportunity window is wide open. Segment 7. Closing and call to action. So, let me summarize what we covered today. The global space economy is $630 billion and growing twice as fast as the world economy. Launch costs have fallen 90%. Private companies now drive 82% of the sector. Satellite internet will reach every corner of India in the next few years. Space data is already being used by agriculture, insurance, and logistics. And the SpaceX IPO, the Netscape moment for space, is coming in 2026. This is not the future. This is right now. And the businesses that understand this today will be building on top of this wave. The ones who ignore it will be asking 3 years from now why they missed it. I run an automation and B2B technology business. And every week I research these topics not just because they are fascinating, but because I use this information to make decisions for my own business. That is what Nexus Future is about. Bringing you the knowledge that matters before it becomes mainstream. If this video gave you value, please hit like and subscribe. It helps this channel grow, and it helps me keep bringing you this kind of research.